one of the greatest individual investors that you might have never heard of. He just doubled down on his highest conviction stock idea, making it the largest position in his portfolio with a weight of almost 20%. And this Israeli internet-based, capital-light and high-margin business is down around 80% from its all-time high that was reached around 1 year ago. So today we need to talk about this investing idea and discuss whether the stock might be worth taking a closer look at. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, hey there, my name is Vinall and it's 13F season once again, meaning we get to see what some of the best investment managers around the world have done in the last quarter, so Q4 2022. And some of the most notable purchases that I have come across are Lilu increasing his Facebook position by 50%, and obviously he did this before Facebook's recent stock decline. So even if Lilu timed the exact bottom of last quarter, which is unlikely to be honest, he paid at least $310 a share, and Facebook is now trading for around $216 a share, so almost 50% lower. Then Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is now an Activision Blizzard shareholder. Who would have guessed that? Although, to be fair, this investment just represents a tiny portion of Berkshire's overall portfolio, and it's actually unlikely that Buffett himself has made that investment decision. Craig Alexander, he continues to increase his Alibaba position. And then finally, the investment team of Poland Capital seems to be still bullish about Amazon's future, making Amazon the largest stock in their portfolio. But then there is actually one more superstar investor whose investing activities I personally track quite closely. And that's Pat Dorsey, founder and CEO of Dorsey Asset Management. And if you don't know who Pat Dorsey is, well, he has worked for Morningstar in the past and was part of Morningstar's team that developed the somewhat famous Morningstar economic moat rating. And that's why Pat Dorsey is actually sometimes referred to as Mr. Moat. So clearly his investment philosophy is focused on highly competitively advantaged companies. Well, and Mr. Dorsey, he hasn't done too much in the last quarter, but two investments stand out, I think. One is a new position in the social commerce marketplace Poshmark, which enables users to buy and sell new or used clothing. And the other noteworthy activity is that he actually increased his position in the website and ad building platform Wix.com. And he increased his position by 75%, making it the largest position in his portfolio with a weight of around 20%. Now the stock of Wix is actually down big time. Just the other day it dropped another 25% after already being down 60 to 70% from its previous all-time high. But before we get to that price action, let's first of all look at the business itself. Let me give you maybe a 2-minute overview of Wix business model. Well, Wix.com actually is an Israeli company that is headquartered in Tel Aviv. They employ almost 6,000 people, and the company is trading under the ticker symbol WIX, so Wix, on the Nasdaq stock exchange. And the firm has a market capitalization of around $5 billion as of February 17th. Wix long-term vision is to be a place or a platform, quote, where any business, community or person can create their dreams online. We believe that Wix is becoming the primary platform for every type of online presence around the world. Our goal is to offer products and services that are simply the best option for any type of user and for any type of business. So what does the company actually do? Well, essentially they offer cloud-based web development services that allow users to create either HTML5 websites and mobile sites as well, but also apps through the use of, I would call it drag and drop tools. So no code is needed to build the websites. It's more like using maybe Microsoft Word or creating a fancy PowerPoint or keynote presentation. I feel like everyone who's able to work with the computer will be able to build his or her own website. And Wix makes money by charging their premium customers either a monthly or an annual subscription fee. And I say premium customers because Wix actually operates on a freemium business model. So you can actually build a website for free, but being a paying user enables additional features. You get rid of the ads on your website, and it allows you to choose your own custom web domain name. But the freemium model, of course, allows users to actually experience what it's like to build a website with the drag and drop toolkit that Wix has to offer. And as of now, out of Wix 220 million users, around 6 million are paid subscribers, and the subscription prices range from $14 a month to around $50 a month. Now, Wix customers are mostly individuals or small and medium-sized businesses that are looking to put their business online. So Wix is essentially a SaaS business, software as a service. Now that's their core product that basically enables anyone to create their own website, even if they don't have any prior coding experience. I've actually used their tools myself to create a website, and I feel like their drag and drop tools are actually super simple to use, very intuitive. So if you ever want to build a website, I certainly recommend their service. But they also offer tools for more sophisticated web developers with the Wix Vinall solutions as well as the Editor X. And these additional offers essentially are expanding the total addressable market from the do-it-yourself market to the do-it-for-me market, where either developers or entire agencies build websites for their clients. And according to Wix management, this do-it-for-you market is actually around 10 times larger than the do-it-yourself market. On top of that, they offer a range of other services for businesses specifically, like for example, payment solutions. So think of someone who's using Wix to build an online shop, for instance, or maybe a restaurant or hotel. Additionally, they offer a logo or a promo video maker. They sell domain registrations. They help users create and manage marketing campaigns. So you get the idea here. All of these offers are summarized under Wix business solutions segment. And the company is still very innovative and keeps adding new features every year. So expect new features to be added in the coming years. All right, with this basic overview of Wix business out of the way, let's get back to Mr. Pat Dorsey. Well, Dorsey is not new to Wix.com. No, he has been an investor in Wix.com for quite a long time actually. His first investment in Wix goes all the way back to the third quarter of 2018. So he discovered Wix almost 4 years ago. But even back then, the stock was trading in the $100 to $115 a share range. And ever since then, Dorsey has been quite actively trading Wix.com. I say trading because he added to his position in the next 2 quarters, but then also trimmed his Wix investment by around 33% in Q2 of 2019. Then he added again in the subsequent quarters, only to trim the position again by 43% this time in Q2 of 2020. Most likely after the stock has shot up above the $200 a share level. But ever since Q2 2021, he has actually been a net buyer, buying more than 1 million shares over the course of 3 quarters. And in the most recent quarter alone, he bought 637,000 shares. So as you can see, Dorsey has invested in Wix.com for a long time. And apparently he believes in the long-term success of the Israeli-based business. And the recent share price decline has likely made him double down on this investment idea. But Dorsey paid at least $150 a share in Q4 2021, and the stock is actually down another 50 to 60% since then. Just a few days ago, Wix.com actually reported their Q4 earnings results, and they reported revenue growth of just 16%. So the market was not very pleased with their overall results, but also the fact that management didn't want to provide any guidance for the coming fiscal year, because they expect a volatile year ahead in terms of demand. And so the stock was actually down another 25% on Thursday following the results. And as of February 17th, it is trading for $89 a share. That's a price that was actually last seen during the absolute corona lows in 2020 and in early 2018. If we just look at this ticker price to sales multiple chart, we can see that the stock is certainly cheap on a relative basis, relative to the historical multiples Wix was trading at. Now, what makes the business of Wix a highly competitively advantaged business? It certainly is operating in a highly competitive space, and there are many other platforms that allow you to build a web presence online. Of course, there are other website builders like WordPress or Squarespace, for instance, but also social media networks allow you to build an online presence, like for example Instagram and Twitter. Well, we can of course only assume what Pat Dorsey sees in the business, but there is actually another very intelligent investor out there who is also betting big on Wix long-term success, and that's Robert Vinall. And he has actually quite extensively written about Wix business in his 2019 letter to shareholders, and I'll get to that letter in a second and quote one key passage. Personally, I would argue that one competitive advantage of Wix that stands out is switching costs. Because once you've established a web presence and built a website, I think you are very unlikely to ever switch. It's a very sticky product. And the churn rate of Wix customers, which is actually not disclosed, but I think it's very likely that the churn rate is really low, and thus Wix posts a nice net revenue retention rate of 116%. I would actually argue that the longer a customer is on the Wix platform, the more layers and features are built into his or her website, the more likely the customer is to stay. For example, when a customer collects payments through Wix payment solutions, or has implemented a booking system like a hotel or, I don't know, maybe a trainer, the subscription fee becomes less relevant to them, and they are, in my opinion, very likely to ever switch. And Wix certainly benefits from those long-lasting customer relationships, because it makes the business highly predictable, and it allows Wix to spend massive sums of money on customer acquisition, knowing that over a long enough time frame those acquisition costs will be recovered. And in a way, this is shown in one of the most beautiful graphs that I have actually ever seen in an investor presentation, because this graph here shows how different cohorts are monetized over time, and the trend is certainly upwards. Another moat we might want to talk about here is, does Wix benefit from scale advantages? And I think even though this is maybe somewhat hard to say, I think there is a scale advantage that the business enjoys. And in fact, I would love to see Wix management team adopt a scale economies shared philosophy. I think you could argue that the larger Wix gets, the more profits they generate, the more developers they employ, the better and more diverse the products will be that they can offer to their users. The functionality and features offered is certainly broader already right now than the functionality and features offered by smaller competitors, because the cost of developing the product might be too high for these smaller businesses. To quote Robert Vinall here, the market for website builders is relatively fragmented, but Wix is probably twice the size of its nearest competitor. Wix scale gives it economies of scale, most significantly in product development. A fixed cost, as having developed something once, Wix can roll it out to all users. Wix's ability to outspend rivals on product development feeds through to cost advantages in customer acquisition, its largest cost at 39% of revenues. As more and more customers find the ideal solution on Wix, it obviates the need to go to a professional website builder, thereby improving the conversion of registered users to premium subscribers. This allows it to outspend rivals on leads, creating a positive feedback loop. And in his letter, Robert Vinall actually also discusses other competitive advantages, such as data advantages, as well as Wix, the Wix brand. But I don't want to get into too much detail here, and I will actually do a follow-up video on Wix current valuation. And maybe I should also do another video in which I discuss the business's competitive advantages more specifically. So if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments down below whether this is something you would be interested in. Now, if you want to learn more about another digital behemoth and how you can value businesses, please check out this video right here on Facebook, in which I point out whether Facebook's current stock drawdown is justified or whether it offers opportunities to intelligent investors.